Hello everyone, I am Dr. Navesh here, Assistant Professor in the Department of Crop Physiology, SR University. Today I am going to cover on micronutrition in plants. In the last video, I already discussed about macronutrition in plants. So let's know about micronutrients in this lecture. So coming to micronutrients, these are the essential mineral elements required by the plants in a very small quantity. So that is usually less than 10 milligram or less than 10 ppm. So these are considered as a micronutrients. Macronutrients are nothing but these are the mineral elements required by the plant in a large quantity. Those are called as a macronutrients. We have 6 macronutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium and sulfur. These are considered as a macronutrients. So coming to micronutrients, the plant required in a very less quantity, and all these mineral nutrients are essential nutrients. What do you mean by essential nutrient? Means all these nutrients follow the three essential criteria of the Arnon and Stout. What are the three essential criteria? Means if one nutrient is absent or one nutrient is deficient, we can't replace that nutrient deficiency by supplying another nutrients. And another one is each nutrients have its own specific role in the plant's metabolism. And another one is without these 17 mineral nutrients, we are considering 17 elements are the essential nutrients. Without these, the plant can't fulfill its life cycle. These are the essential criteria to consider one nutrient as a essential. So these micronutrients are mainly involved as a cofactor catalyst rather than the structural components. So we will cover one by one. Iron, it is the most important micronutrient. So coming to role of the iron majorly involved in chlorophyll synthesis, but it is not in its structure. It is having indirect role. If you see the chlorophyll structure or formula, it's a C55H72O5N4Mg. In that structure, we are not finding iron, but it is have indirect role in the synthesis of chlorophyll molecule. So if it is an indirect role in the chlorophyll molecule, means it is obvious that in the absence of the iron, the plant face chlorosis. There is no chlorophyll content, means the leaves become yellow. So that's why the chlorosis of the plant is the common symptoms of iron deficiency. And iron has a major role in electron transport system. So in the electron transport system, the redox reaction, that is oxidation and reduction of the any compound, is because of iron, cytochrome. Not only in photosynthesis and also mitochondria, we have electron transport chain. There also iron have a its specific role. And also it's a component of cytochrome and ferredoxin. Both are involved in electron transport chain. So common deficiency symptoms of iron is intravenous chlorosis of younger leaves, because iron is an immobile nutrient. So it causes intravenous chlorosis on younger leaves. So intravenous chlorosis on older leaves caused by magnesium. So and iron also have because of the iron deficiency, the plant face reduced photosynthesis, because no chlorophyll means it directly affect the photosynthesis. And yellowing, these are both same. Intravenous chlorosis means it is yellowing, and lime induced chlorosis, it's like almost in the lime color. So here you are observing veins are in green color. In the middle between the veins, the leaf turned into yellow color. So this is known as intravenous chlorosis in the younger leaves, that is growing leaves. In correction measures, iron chelates, ferrous sulfates. These are the chelates helps to absorb the immobile nutrients. So iron chelate is the specific way to correct the iron deficiency. So here these are the specific iron deficiency symptoms: ivory chlorosis in maize, intravenous chlorosis in almost all the plants, and white tip in rice. These are the specific symptoms of iron deficiency. Coming to manganese, so manganese involved in water splitting during photosynthesis. So what it means, so during photosynthesis, in first lecture I told you, during photosynthesis we have Z cycle. This is photosystem 2, and another one photosystem is there, photosystem 1. So here we have cytochrome or plastocyanin, plastoquinone, and at the end it will reduce NADP. It will reduce NADP. So this is the complete non-cyclic electron transport chain during photosynthesis. In photosystem 2, the water will split into H plus oxygen. Water will split into H plus molecule and oxygen. So this water splitting is known as hydrolysis. So this water splitting is done by manganese. Both manganese and chlorine is involved in water splitting during electron transport chain. If anyone asks about oxygen released during the photosynthesis, where it is come from, means it is not coming from carbon dioxide, it is coming from water. Whatever the oxygen we received after photosynthesis is because of this water splitting, not because of carbon dioxide. So this water splitting is involved or catalyzed by manganese. Not only manganese, chlorine and somewhat calcium also involved in water splitting. So and also manganese activates several enzymes, and nitrogen metabolism also have manganese has specific role. In the deficiency of manganese, the plant face stunted growth, weak stem, because stunted growth means there is a less vegetative growth because it directly affects this electron transport chain, and poor fruit set and reduced pod formation. Manganese affects the energy production of the plant, so therefore there is no much about the source or in the leaves the photoassimilates is reduced. So because of that it suffer from poor fruit set. The plant suffer from sorry, poor fruit set. And fertilization, how it will avoid the manganese means you can go for manganese sulfate or manganese oxide, and manganese availability is high in between the pH 5.5 to 6.5. So here manganese also plant show yellowing, but here the leaves become crinkled and curled and become wavy. So leaves become almost wavy like structure. So it is not straight. The leaves, for example, the leaves like this one. The leaves look like this. It is become crinkled and curled, or it's like wavy leaves. So this is because of manganese deficiency. Coming to the specific roles of manganese, it causes grey speck of wood, marsh spot of the speckled yellow of sugar beet. Speckled yellow of sugar beet also interveinal yellowing of leaves, but here the leaves edges become curved inside. So the leaves edges shows inward curling. So this is the symptoms of manganese. Grey speck of wood, marsh spot of pea, and speckled yellow of sugar beet. So another very highly important micronutrients is zinc. The zinc is the vital for the enzyme activation, and zinc have a high role in the synthesis of IAA. IAA is the plant hormone. So this IAA or tryptophan amino acid, IAA is synthesized from the amino acid tryptophan. That biosynthesis of tryptophan is depend upon zinc nutrition. So zinc directly affects the vegetative growth of the leaves. In the absence of the zinc, the plant leaves become very small or little leaves. So that's why the deficiency of zinc we call it as a little leaf of plants. So it not only in apple, it causes in chili also, little leaf of apple, little leaf of chili, little leaf of lychee. So all these crop suffer from zinc deficiency, causes little leaf, and also it causes poor grain and seed formation, reduced tillering and leaf curling, shortened internodes, that is rosette appearance. The internodal length decreased because of the zinc deficiency. And also zinc causes Cairo disease of paddy and white bud of maize, little leaf. These three are highly specific to the zinc. White bud of maize is because of zinc, and white tip of rice is because of iron. Don't confuse. White bud of maize, zinc deficiency. White tip in rice is because of iron, and little leaf is zinc. Cairo disease is because of zinc. In most of the exam, they asked directly question regarding Cairo disease of paddy. The zinc deficiency you can fulfill by zinc sulfate, zinc oxide, zinc. Lot of zinc fertilizers are available in the market. You can use in a specific quantity depending upon the crops. Coming to copper, the copper actually have a specific role in electron transport, and also it is having specific role in um, redox reactions, that is oxidation and reduction reactions. So if you see this in the electron transport chain, so we have plastocyanine. This plastocyanine is made up of copper, and also copper is involved in the oxidation and reduction reactions, and also copper involved in the component of antioxidants. So it is involved in antioxidants. So superoxide dismutase is there. So this is one kind of antioxidants. It is attached with copper to reduce or to neutralize reactive oxygen species. So this is the help of the role of the copper. So under the deficiency of copper, it causes sclerosis on the younger leaves, normal as usual. And high specific deficiency of copper is this dieback. Dieback means death of the leaves from tip to downwards. So death will start from tip to downwards. We call it as a dieback of the leaves, and also poor root set. Necrosis is common for most of the nutrients. Exanthema. Exanthema disease is specific to copper. Exudation of gums around the central pith of the fruits and the twig or nodes, that is because of copper. And another one is chlorosis, wilting and browning of the leaves. It is also common for most of the nutrients. And necrotic spots, so the gumming of the bark and exanthema both are same. So this one is because of the copper. So the fertilizer copper sulfate, copper chelates you can use. So copper major role is it acts as it is involved in antioxidants, and it is a component of plastocyanin during electron transport chain, and majorly involved in oxidation and reduction reactions in the plants. So next coming to boron. The boron is involved in cell wall formation and carbohydrate transport and flower development, and also pollen tube growth. Actually pollen tube growth also it is having specific role. And boron deficiency cause sclerosis of younger leaves, white rolled to tip. These are the highly specific, but in most of the exams they will ask direct deficiency symptoms of boron. The plant required boron, and boron also immobile the nutrients. That's why if the boron is deficient means plant will suffer more. So these are the highly specific deficiency symptoms: hen and chip disease in grapes, yellow tip of lucerne, hollow heart of groundnut, and heart rot of sugar beet. So these are the highly specific symptoms of boron. In exam directly they will ask hen and chip disease in grapes caused by boron. So like that they will directly ask this boron deficiency. And also remember pollen tube growth is because of boron, and sugar translocations in the plant is because of boron. Not only the calcium is a macronutrient, this translocation also influenced by boron. So majorly the sugar translocation or nutrient translocation, boron have a specific role. So other than that, the deficiency is highly specific for the boron. So here you can see some picture of the deficiency of boron. One is browning of cauliflower, hen and chick diseases in the grapes, water corn of turnip, the water lesions forms on the turnip, and heart rot. the middle region of the sugar beet will become rotting of the middle region causes because of the boron deficiency. So you can use borax and boric acid for the corrective measures. Coming to molybdenum, so the molybdenum is the crucial for the nitrogen fixation. So we have nitrate reductase are there, nitrate reductase and nitrite reductase, nitrogenase in the biological nitrogen fixation. So the molybdenum have a specific role in nitrogen assimilation and also nitrogen metabolism. In the absence of molybdenum, the plant becomes stunted, poor nitrogen fixation. These are the highly common symptoms of molybdenum. And one specific symptoms of molybdenum in most of the exam nowadays also they will ask this white tail of cauliflower is because of molybdenum deficiency. So how we will correct this molybdenum deficiency? You can go for ammonium molybdate or sodium molybdate and foliar spray of a molybdenum solution. You can go for it. So next one is chlorine. So chlorine already during manganese we discussed that chlorine is involved in water splitting during photosynthesis electron transport chain. Other than that, chlorine involved in osmotic regulation. So osmotic regulation, potassium is the major role in opening and closing both the stomata, and also it maintains the osmosis. And another one is chlorine, malate ion, sugars, all are involved in the maintaining osmotic regulation. What do you mean by osmosis? So the movement of the water or solvent molecules from higher water potential. So means higher water region to lower water potential means high salt concentration is there and water content is less to higher water potential to lower water potential through semi-permeable membrane is known as osmosis. What is this osmotic regulation means? If you keep one cell inside some solution. Hypertonic solution means high salt concentration and low water content. If you keep cell in hypertonic solution, high salt concentrated solution where water is very less, the water will move from cell to outside environment. That one we call it as the exosmosis. If you place cell in hypotonic solution means the water is more and salt is less. In hypotonic solution, the water moves from inside to outside. We call it as the endosmosis. During stress or during salinity or whenever water stress or drought is there, the water move from inside to outside because the concentration is high outside and water content is less outside. That's why water move from inside to outside. To avoid this exosmosis, the plant will increase these nutrients like potassium, chlorine, sodium, and another one is malate, sugar alcohols is there, mannitol and sorbitol, proline. So all these are acts as a osmotic regulation. All these are involved in osmotic regulation. So next one is this chlorine have a specific role in that. So in the absence of the chlorine, we have chlorosis, yellowing with necrotic spots, and also browning of the leaves we can observe during chlorine deficiency. It can correct by potassium chloride and sodium chloride. So coming to last micronutrients is nickel. Nickel is the nutrient that helps in the plant to produce cell wall, which strength. The major nickel is the component of enzyme urease. Urease is the enzyme is there. The urease is the made up of nickel. This urease enzyme is made up of nickel. So the symptoms of the nickel is necrosis of the leaf tip. So nickel can be corrected directly by the nickel solutions are available. So that one you can spray around 100 ppm. 100 ppm means 1 ppm is equal to 1 milligram in 1 liter. In 1 liter gives 1 ppm. Like that 100 milligram of nickel in 1 liter gives 100 ppm. Like that you need to prepare during preparing the nutrient solutions. I think hope you know about these micronutrients. We discussed 8 micronutrients. One is iron, another one is manganese, copper, zinc, nickel. So and another one is boron, chlorine, and molybdenum. So all these are micronutrients. We have 8 micronutrients are there, which follows the essential criteria of Arnon and Stout. Next, coming to beneficial elements, we know that 17 essential elements are there. Then, what is the meaning of beneficial element? What is the difference between essentiality and beneficial elements? Means elements which are not required for the plants but can promote plant growth and metabolism. So, these elements helps in plant growth and metabolism, but they are not required for all plants. These nutrients are not universal. Those 17 elements, essential elements, are universal. In the absence of single element also, the plant can't fulfill its life cycle. But in the absence of these essential elements, the plant can fulfill its life cycle. But in the presence of these elements, for some plants, it is highly beneficial for its growth and metabolism. That is why it is known as beneficial element. It gives benefits for some crops, but these elements are not universal. So elements which promote the plant growth in a particular plants but are not necessary for the all plants. It failed to meet the Arnon and Stout criteria. What is the criteria of Arnon and Stout? To complete its life cycle, this nutrient is highly essential, but it's not. So beneficial elements, without beneficial elements also plant can complete its life cycle. So examples of beneficial element means silicon, sodium, selenium and cobalt. All these are the beneficial elements. So coming to cobalt, so during not only molybdenum, so the cobalt also has specific role in the nitrogenase, that is biological nitrogen fixing enzyme. So these are the present in leguminous plant. In leguminous plant, this biological nitrogen fixation highly influenced by cobalt. In the absence of cobalt, directly it will affect the biological nitrogen fixation of leguminous plant, and also it enhance the microbial activity in the rhizosphere and improve the crop growth. These are the common symptoms, but specific role of cobalt is nitrogenous. So cobalt is the beneficial element of leguminous plant, not for all. In leguminous plant it is highly beneficial. So cobalt sulfate you can use during the deficiency. You can spray cobalt sulfate to increase the biological nitrogen fixation by legumes. So major agriculture application is leguminous crop. It is having highly essential, and also for livestock. So the cobalt gives vitamin B12. So vitamin B12 is also component, cobalt is a component of vitamin B12. So livestock need vitamin B12 means you need to give the cobalt supplements. So next one is silicon. Silicon major role is cell wall strengthening, and also it has been major role in rice crop to avoid lodging during flooding. So we can, or whenever there is a excess water around the crop, to avoid the lodging, so or fungal infection, we can use silicon. Majorly it is having specific role in the rice crops. So it has specific role in leguminous, like that silicon has specific role in rice, and it avoid the lodging and also pest and diseases in the rice crop. So silicon you can provide by calcium silicate or potassium silicate, and also rice ash also have silicon content, and it improves the lodging resistant and disease resistant against the rice. Plus silicon have a specific role, and also it has some role in cucurbits and also cereal crops like wheat and corn, but it is not universal. It is having beneficial role to avoid the lodging in the crops by increasing the cell wall strength. Selenium also adds in the antioxidant activity, antioxidant system protect the plant from the oxidative damage. What do you mean by oxidative damage? Means the damage caused because of the oxygen species, reactive oxygen species. What do you mean by reactive oxygen species? Means these are the made up of oxygen species. For example, this is superoxide and H2O2, H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, and hydroxyl ion, singlet oxygen. So these are all acts as a reactive oxygen species. What this means these are the oxygen species and highly reactive. These are oxygen species but highly reactive. Why it is highly reactive? Means oxygen need two electrons to neutralize itself or stabilize itself. If there is a lack of any electron or excess electron causes affect directly the stability of the oxygen. What it will do, for example, if you take this superoxide, it having 3 electrons. So oxygen having 2 electrons plus 1 electron produces superoxide. So this one need one more electrons to stabilize itself. That time what it will do, it will go and take that electrons from the cell membrane. So it directly affects the stability of the cell membrane. It causes membrane leakage. So that is known as oxidative damage. Damage caused by oxygen species. So this lack of electrons, requirement of electrons fulfilled by antioxidants. Antioxidant means even though it loses one electron, they are stable. So those compounds we call it as antioxidants. Not only selenium, we have lot of antioxidants are there. We have enzymatic antioxidants, like plant have enzymatic antioxidants like catalase, superoxide dismutase, ascorbate peroxide. So these are all that as enzymatic antioxidants. Non-enzymatic antioxidants like carotenoids, the selenium also acts as a non-enzymatic antioxidants. We have carotenoids are there, some vitamins also acts as antioxidants, uh, and some sugars also acts as antioxidants. So stress resistant, it helps in improving the resistance because in abiotic stress reactive oxygen species content is very high. So to avoid that stress or neutralize that stress, so selenium very helpful. That's why it directly have role in abiotic stress management. And selenium important for biosynthesis of selenoprotein. Some proteins also made up of selenium, and selenium enhances the natural defense like this. It antioxidants are involved in the defense mechanism, so selenium directly involved in natural defense mechanisms. And coming to soil application, in market we have sodium selenate, so selenite. So this you can use for the correction measures, or you can give selenium through this to improve the abiotic resistance of the plants. So coming to sodium, so this sodium is also a beneficial element. So sodium can be applied through sodium chloride and also seaweed based fertilizers. So sodium, even though during salt stress, sodium is the major effect on the plant. Sodium have some beneficial effects in halophytes. Halophytes means these are the plants which grown on the salt conditions. Some another plant is there glycophytes. Glycophytes are the sensitive to the salinity. So this glycophytes example is rice, wheat, maize. You can take that as a glyphosites. Glyphosites are these are the plants which can't survive under the saline condition. Halophytes means these are the plants which grow under the saline conditions like salt bush and atriplex. These are the tolerant mechanism for the sodium. And sodium, how they are tolerating mechanism means in the leaf like stomata, they are having salt glands. These atriplex having salt glands. So what they will do, directly they excrete salt in a crystalline form. So directly they will excrete salt in a crystalline form. So that's why these are the salt tolerant. And next one is rice. The rice is the highly sensitive for the sodium stress, that is salinity. But for spraying little amount of the sodium, it can enhance the saline tolerant capacity of the rice crops. So coming to role of sodium, sodium have a specific role in osmotic regulation. Sodium play important role in osmotic balance like chlorine and potassium. Sodium also involved in maintaining the water status of the plant in less quantity. Another one is sodium can replace the potassium. Sodium and potassium having same amount of charge and similar size almost. So that's why sodium can replace the potassium. That instead of potassium, plant can uptake sodium. So during salinity, that is the major effect because number of the concentration of sodium increase instead of potassium. Potassium also having specific role. So that's why during salinity, the plants suffer from deficiency of potassium. And sodium is involved in transport of other nutrients like potassium and chloride. It's common for all the plants. So I think this is about beneficial element. This sodium, this is having beneficial role in halophytes and selenium having beneficial role in abiotic stress plants. Or what are the plants exposed to abiotic stress or any oxidative stress? In that plant, it acts as an antioxidant system and silicon in rice and cobalt in leguminous plant. Like this, all these elements are having beneficial role means benefits to some specific crops, not for all. So some 7 to 8 MCQs we can solve just to know about the just for your understanding how questions can come from this micronutrients. So intervena chlorosis in the younger leaves is typical symptoms of. So intervena chlorosis, I mentioned. Intervena chlorosis in older leaves is because of magnesium. Intervena chlorosis in older leaves, but the leaf margins become curled inward. Means it bend towards inward means that is because of manganese. So intervena chlorosis in younger leaves is because of iron deficiency. Next one is Kaira disease. This is a direct question. So Kaira disease in rice is caused by the deficiency of zinc. Like this, you need to remember very specific role. For example, hen and chick disease of grapes because of boron, gray speck of wood because of manganese. So like that, very specific. That one is in last class also we discussed bitter bit of apple calcium. Today we discussed that the white tail of cauliflower is because of molybdenum. Like that, very specific role is there. That one you need to remember. Sorry, not role, deficiency symptoms. So white tail disorder of cauliflower is just now I discussed molybdenum. White tail disorder of cauliflower is because of molybdenum. And dieback, so dieback is because of copper. So death of the shoot or death of the leaves from tip to backside is because of copper. And another one is hollow heart of groundnut is the deficiency symptoms of boron. Not only hollow heart, so that is the hollow heart of groundnut, hollow heart of turnip is because of boron, and also cracking of some fruits is because of boron. Hen and chick disease in chickpea is because of boron. So browning of cauliflower is because of boron. So gray speck of wood is due to the deficiency of manganese. So gray speck of oat, Mars spot of pea, speckled yellow of sugar beet, all these are the specific deficiency symptoms of manganese. And next one is failure of pollen germination and poor fruit set is linked to the deficiency of boron. So boron having specific role in pollen tube growth. If the pollen tube growth is affecting means is because of the deficiency of boron. Boron also involved in the translocation of the sugars, translocation of the calcium and pollen tube growth. These are the roles of the boron. So if pollen germination is affecting means it is the deficiency symptoms of boron. Next one is chlorosis with bronzing and reduced root growth is the typical deficiency symptoms of. So it is because of chlorine. Chlorine, chlorosis. Chlorosis, of course, It is a deficiency symptoms of most of the nutrients like nitrogen causes chlorosis, zinc also somewhat causes chlorosis, but major zinc deficiencies little leaf or rosette of the plant, and copper is dieback, nickel necrosis. So like that, chlorine have a specific role, chlorosis and wilting. Entire plant will become wilt because chlorine almost involved in water splitting, and also it maintains the water status of the plant. Without the chlorine, the plant suffer from water stress or plant become wilt. Coming to this question, deficiency of which micronutrients affect the urease enzyme activity? This is also a direct question. If you see which enzyme involved these components, one component is required for its structure, that is nickel. Nickel is involved in the urease structure. So urease enzyme is made up of nickel. So the deficiency of which micronutrients affect the urease enzyme is, it's direct question. It's because of nickel. So, which micronutrients is essential for auxin synthesis? Sometimes, which micronutrients essential for tryptophan amino acids? Also, they can ask. So, tryptophan is the precursor of auxin biosynthesis. So, in the deficiency of zinc, so this auxin biosynthesis is directly affect because zinc is involved in biosynthesis of tryptophan, and tryptophan is the precursor of auxin synthesis. Hope you got some information regarding micronutrients. Just as a summary, micronutrients are the essential nutrients. These are required in a very small amount. These iron, zinc, manganese, copper, boron, all these 8 elements we considered as a micronutrients. Majorly, micronutrients are involved in enzyme activity, electron transport chain, that is oxidation and reduction, and in hormone and protein synthesis. Like in the last slide, we discussed that auxin hormone because of zinc. Zinc involved in the synthesis of this auxin, and nitrogen metabolism. Majorly, molybdenum involved in the nitrogen metabolism. Cell wall formation. So not only this one, silicon beneficial elements, that one also involved in cell wall formation, and osmotic balance. This iron and majorly chlorine and other elements also involved in the osmotic balance, but these two are the major. I hope you got some information regarding micronutrients. uh, okay, thank you so much.